Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we've finished with our editing and adding of courses, let's see how we can the users can view those courses. All right, so this is the single post view which you find in the folder. If I check in the project folder, there's a templates folder there, and there's the blog itself. So the original template looks like this when we go to our single page here. So we may need to use this. Since this is the template we have, we're gonna use that. The alternative is to copy what Udemy has, which is this one. Now this is just a matter of design, so if you have the time to design this, you can design it to look as it looks on Udemy, but for now we don't need that. This is nice though, this part here where we have these sections here, and since we are using Bootstrap, we can actually grab from Bootstrap to get this kind of thing. Okay, so let's go to getbootstrap.com. Oh, my internet is off. That's one thing I forgot. Give me a second here to switch it on. So while that is happening, we can continue with our coding. So now if you click on let me go here. If you click on a course here, it gives you the page not found thing here. So if I click, that's what I get, but we want to get the single page view. So all we need to do is make sure that it goes to the right place here. So let's grab since our courses right now are on the home page, let's go to the home view. So app views, let's go to the home view, and let's look for, let's see here, let's look for the single, this is where it is. So it's single post.html, but instead of that, we're gonna say, we're gonna call it course like this. So of course we need the root every time, so I'm gonna put root here and then slash course, and then the course itself we will put let's see here, what are we putting? A slug, is it? Do we have a slug here? First row. Okay, so it seems here first row is the thing. So I'm going to copy that and put it here. I'm assuming we have a slug column, so I'm going to copy this over here. In fact, let me just copy the whole thing, because that will be the link to everything else. So let me go down here. This is just for the first section, so we should have another one. So all I'm going to do is select all of this, all versions of this. There's another one here, and this one is inside a row, just like this one. Let me see if there is another one. There's another one here, and also here we have row. So the rest I can select all together. I'm pressing Ctrl D, and then I'm going to replace and paste. Now I'm going to use the arrow keys to go back and remove this part that says first, so that I just have row slug like so. Okay, so I have one more here, which is this one. I should have selected all, but this is fine. And then I'll remove this first part here and save. All right, so let me refresh. And let's go down here. This time it says warning, undefined property class slug. Okay, great. So let me go to my PHP my admin. So I'm gonna do localhost PHP my admin, so that we check the database. Meanwhile, I can load, I think my internet is on now. There we go. So if we go to the documentation here, the docs, and I'm gonna go to, I'm looking for, what are those? Drop down carousel? No. I'm looking for, what do you call those things? Let's see, accordion actually. So that's the first thing here. So let's check that out. And yes, an example of the accordion is right here. This is precisely what I need. Look at that. Okay. So this one we will grab. Let me just grab that copy to clipboard. So copy that. And let's try this out. Oh, but before we use this, we actually need to design the page. So we need the course page here. So the first thing we're going to do is let's look at this home view here, and it contains a footer and navigation, etc, etc. So I'm going to grab these guys. Let's create a new file here, and I'll paste the second time. I'll remove this and convert that to footer. Okay, then we can have our content over here, and I'm going to save that. So this one is going to be course.view.php. All right, so there we go. We have that. We will need the actual template file. So inside templates, we're looking for the Zen blog. Now, the template itself doesn't matter. You can use any page. This is the single post HTML. So I'm going to copy all of this. Now, I don't want to copy what's already in the header. So I'm going to look for this in the header and the nav bar. So end of search form, end of header. So I just want to grab all this in the main. I think main is already there in the header, if I am not mistaken. Let me go to the header. Where is this? This includes navigation actually. Let's go over here. Let's see, nav. Okay, so it starts with the main part here, so I'm correct. So we should start just after the main section. So I'm going to check where the main section ends, and that's at 4:15 or 4:16, somewhere there. So I'm going to copy everything in between there to 4:16. So let's keep going, and we went too far. End main. So right there, I'm going to copy that. Let's go to course view and paste. Okay, great. So at this point now we should have a clickable thing. So let's see. If I go here and oh, it said the slug is undefined. So let's come here for a second to the database. So I'm going to go to the Udemy database, Udemy DB. And let's look at courses. Let's see what's in there. So course image, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we don't actually have a slug column here. No. So we only have an ID. But since these are courses that will be Googled on the web, we need to have a slug. So I'm going to go to the structure here. And let's create a slug column, shall we? Let's see here, languages, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's create an extra column at the end, and let's call it slug. So a slug is just the clean name version of the title. That way we can have the text from the title inside our URL. So once we put the slug in the URL, at least it will make it SEO friendly, which means now, so if I go to browse here, which means the URL will contain the title of your course, but that has to be URL friendly. So if I go back here, at least now we won't have this error we see when we hover on these guys. Let me refresh. It's just that the slug is now empty. That's all. In any case, even though it's empty, if I click, I get, oh, there we go, course. This is the thing here. it seems there is already category. There's already a controller called course here. Single course class. Oh, we already had that. Oh, great, great. This is awesome, but it just opens the home page, does it? Oh, I think we had only just loaded, we had copied it, I think, from the home page. So let me change that to course, like so. And then instead of selector from courses, we will, let's see, read all courses. Approved is equal to 0, blah, blah, blah. We don't need all of that. Let me come back here and let's refresh. Okay, so there we go. We have this now. Clearly, some stuff isn't showing because of our source issue, but let's fix that. Okay, so let me look for everything that says source and add let's add root to that kind of thing. So like this one here, source assets, so everything up to there. Let me select everything that has that and then move my arrow keys, and then I can put root there like so, and slash. That should do the trick. So let's see, refresh. Okay, that doesn't seem to have worked, but let's see. Assets, image, posts. Let's go to the assets and see if this is actually true. So the public folder is here, and there is no img folder at all. Okay, so those couldn't be in there. Let me see here. If I grab these assets here, there's img in the original template there, so I'm wondering why I don't have that. All right, but in any case, it doesn't matter. So what we're gonna do is, wait a minute, assets, let's see, images. Oh, this is my content here. Okay. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Now, one option is to bring this content to where it's needed. Let me go CSS, there's custom CSS. Public, let's see here. Oh, there's Zen blog there, so I forgot about that. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so there I need to put Zen blog like so, slash. Okay, that should do the trick. Okay, great. So there we go. Things are working as intended. That's good. Now let's just make sure at least we've got a title here for our course that we have selected, and for that we need a slug over there. Now there's no slug there, so that's not good. Let's go back to the list here, and that's because when we hover on any of these, there are no slugs there either, because every slug is empty. Now we want to create a function that creates a slug. So what it does simply is it gets the title and converts it to a URL friendly version and then puts it there. So let's see how we can do that. So if I go to my functions, let's go core functions. Let's just create a function that does precisely that. So what am I going to call it? Create slug. So we're going to do function generate slug. So we're going to return whatever the string is that we were given in the first place. And here I want this to receive a string. We shouldn't put any default values so that it's demanded of us. So I'm going to do string is equal to. Now here I want to replace anything that doesn't match a particular string or particular pattern. So I'm going to do preg replace here. So let's go preg replace, because that we can use a regular expression. So in here, the only things that I want is A to Z, capital A to capital Z. These are the things that are required. So 0 to 9. Okay. And what else? So all of this here, like that. Let me put a plus to say any number of items. Now, if I put a caret inside here, I do this, it means it's going to match anything that isn't whatever I've added here. So if something isn't a letter A to Z or a number, it's going to be replaced. Okay. Now what will it be replaced by? It will be replaced by a hyphen like that, because that's more URL friendly. And the subject is the string, like so. Okay. So with that in mind, we should have something that looks more URL friendly. Also, we can trim this. This is equal to trim. Let me trim string, but what I'm removing is the what else? Let's see, the dash at the end. So trailing hyphen will be removed, leading or trailing ones. And then also string is equal to string to lower, so that we make sure it's lowercase. Makes things easier that way. Alright, I think we have it. Also, let me replace what else I need to replace here? I think this should do it. Let me start by replacing, let me do a string, simple string replace. I'm searching for the single quote. Let's replace it with nothing, just so we remove those. And the subject is the same string, like that. Okay, so what we're doing here is we receive a string, we remove any single quotes from there, and then we replace everything that isn't a letter or a number. Okay. So we should leave these hyphens like that. So I'm just gonna escape that to show that I just want the hyphen is acceptable, and also the underscore. No, let me just leave that as it is. Okay, so there we go. So only numbers and letters allowed, and then we'll return that. And then now I just want to create a function that I'm going to use to write, since I already have content in my database, I wanted to generate slugs for the already existing thing. This will be a temporal function we create. It won't do much, just we use it once and that's it. So let me go and see how we have been using our database class here for a second. Just need to be reminded. Okay, so we have a course model there. I think we can use that. Let me come back to functions. So I'm gonna do this. Course is equal to new model course. And then I'm gonna do this. I won't even make it a function. I just want to read stuff. So I'm gonna run a query here and just say select all from courses. That way I select everything. So home, let me do rows, like that. And then I can say for each rows, So this is a single row. So what I want to do is grab a title. So I'm just reading from the database. I want to get a title and then create a slug and save it. So here I'm going to say title. Actually, let's make slug is equal to. Here we're going to grab something from this single row, and this is the title. But we have a function called generate slug, and from the title. And then what do? We update. So we're going to do course update. And we need an ID for this, so let's use the row ID, and we need some data. So the data we are adding is just a slug. Let's create an array and add that slug value, like so. Simple and straightforward. So this code should create a slug for every item in our database. So currently the slugs are empty. And if I just refresh the page, it doesn't matter where I do this from, it should work. Okay, so here it's saying failed, no such file directory exists on line 8. Okay, I think the reason is because of the order that we are adding items, right? So let me grab this. If I go to the init here, you see that functions are added first before I add model.php. So this is exactly the problem. It means I'm trying to access things that I haven't added yet. So I just need to move this code to something that's a bit lower down the stairs here. Not controller, maybe app.php or something. Where do I include? Okay, I think. Init. Actually, maybe we can put it right here, because after we include the application, then we have to run things. So here what I'll do is I'll just put that code here and it will work just fine. So this is the init.php page. If I refresh, it says syntax error. You have an error in your SQL. Okay, so where ID is equal to 1. Okay. That's weird. Why is that a problem? We do have ID here. Because it's telling me the query is wrong near here. So it says where ID is equal to 1. I think it's because it doesn't have a closing. Maybe it doesn't have a closing thingy here. So let's see. Selector from update row. Okay, what I can do here to find out what's going on is to go to my model.php, and let me go to my update function. So the update function creates a query before running it, and the query will be right here. So let me just echo that query here, like so. That way I can see what's going on. Let me refresh. So it's update courses set. Okay. Set. Right. So this is the wrong query. Update courses set where there should be a column name here. Set slug is equal to this, where ID is equal to ID. So something wrong here. Maybe I didn't provide an array in a proper way. Did I? Oh, I just did. Slug is equal to slug, row ID. What is going on here? The data. Okay. This is literally at the end, so this should work, right? Okay, regardless, let me just remove this. Let me just put in a query instead. I don't want to struggle with this at this point. So I'm just gonna do update query, update courses. Set slug is equal to slug, where id is equal to id limit 1. So all I need to do is put the right items here. So I have slug, I need to put id there as well. Let me change that id and then comma. So I have 2 items as variables here, and I have 2 items in my array, so that should work. Let's go back here and refresh. Okay, so it seems to have worked. Let me go to my browse option here to see, and as you can see here we have slugs for these items. Every space is changed to a hyphen and changed to small letters. Okay, great. So this means everything is good and we don't need this code anymore here. So I'm going to delete that from the init page, and we will need to use this function over and over again. Let me go back here actually, since I have refreshed. Now each one of these items should have a slug ready to go. Okay, very good. So if I click on this now, there is a slug over there. So I can use that now to actually query this particular course. Alright, so let's do that in the next video.